What if I told you the world you see is a lie? Not a conspiracy, not a theory, a simple, provable fact. The maps in your phone are already out of date. The news reports you watch are hours, even days behind the reality on the ground. The story of our planet, of our wars, our economies, our environment, is being written in a language you can't see, in a place you can't reach. You clicked on this video because you're looking for the hidden edge, the unseen force driving the future. You're tired of the same old stories about tanks, planes, and missiles. You know the next generation of power isn't just about brute force, it's about information. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the key. We're going to pull back the curtain on a company that has built a real-life time machine for planet Earth. A company that is quietly becoming the single most critical source of ground truth for governments, militaries, and corporations around the globe. Stay with me because we will dissect how they built this planetary surveillance network, how their technology is already shaping geopolitical events, and by the end of this video I will reveal the one single part of their strategy that almost everyone is missing. It's the secret ingredient that could make this company not just a defense giant, but the most important intelligence firm of the 21st century. This isn't just about a stock, this is about the architecture of future power. So how do you see the entire world every single day? That question sounds like science fiction. For decades it was. Satellites were multi-billion-dollar, school bus-sized behemoths launched by superpowers. Getting a picture of one specific place was a slow, expensive, and jealously guarded process. The world remained mostly invisible most of the time. Then a small group of ex-NASA scientists had a radical, almost insane idea. What if instead of building a few exquisite, giant satellites, you built thousands of tiny, cheap ones? What if you launched them into orbit, not as individual missions, but as a vast coordinated fleet? A constellation of eyes in the sky? That idea became Planet Labs, and today it's no longer an idea. Planet Labs operates the largest fleet of Earth imaging satellites in human history. We're talking about hundreds of them, constantly circling the globe, scanning the entire landmass of our planet, every single day. Think about what that means. The status quo has been shattered. Before Planet, seeing change on the ground was like watching a movie by looking at one random photograph from it each year. You could see that a forest disappeared, but you couldn't see the fire starting, spreading, and being fought. You could see a city grew, but you couldn't see the individual buildings going up week by week. With Planet Labs, we're not watching a slideshow anymore. We're watching a live stream of civilization. But here's the question that should be forming in your head. Okay, so they have a lot of pictures. Big deal. How is that different from the Google Earth app on my phone? And that right there is the first level of misunderstanding. That's where most people stop. They see a satellite company selling pictures. But that's not what Planet is doing anymore. Selling pictures is the old model. It's like selling raw crude oil. The real money, the real power is in refining that oil into gasoline, into jet fuel, into the plastics that build our world. Planet has moved beyond just selling the pictures. They are now an AI-powered intelligence company. They built a platform called Planet Insights. This platform doesn't just show you a photo. It uses sophisticated artificial intelligence to tell you what's in the photo. It automatically detects change. It counts ships in a port. It measures the health of crops across an entire continent. It identifies deforestation the moment it happens. It tracks the construction of new military bases or infrastructure projects in near real time. Planet isn't selling raw data anymore, they're selling answers. Actionable intelligence. This is the critical shift that takes them from just another space startup to a foundational piece of the modern defense and intelligence apparatus. Because in a world of rising geopolitical tension, what is the most valuable commodity? It's not a missile, it's not a tank. It's knowing what your adversary is doing right now. And governments are paying a premium for this knowledge. While many space companies are still burning cash hyping technology that doesn't have a clear market, Planet's defense and intelligence revenue just grew a staggering 41% year over year. They aren't begging for customers. They are being integrated directly into the operational workflow of the world's most powerful organizations. This is the moment of revelation. This is where Planet Labs transforms from an interesting tech story into a geopolitical force. When investors talk about finding the next Palantir, they're talking about a company that embeds itself so deeply into government operations that it becomes indispensable. Palantir did it with data fusion software. Planet Labs is doing it with real-world physical ground truth. Let me give you a concrete example. On July 17th, Planet announced a major contract expansion with Colombia's National Mapping Authority, the IJAX. They aren't just buying satellite photos. They are using Planet's AI-powered change detection to overhaul their country's land management, urban planning, and disaster response. Planet's technology is becoming the nervous system for an entire nation's infrastructure. This isn't a one-off deal, it's a template, a strategy of global integration. When a government agency builds its entire workflow around your daily data feed and AI analytics, you are no longer a vendor, you are a partner, you have an unbreakable moat. And this is what makes its stock one of the hottest low-price defense plays of 2025. Trading under the ticker PL, the stock has already surged more than 354% from its lows. This isn't speculative hype. This is the market waking up to a fundamental shift. The numbers back it up. In its most recent quarter, the company reported $73.4 million in revenue. That's 20% year-over-year growth. Their non-GAAP gross margin climbed to an impressive 61%. And here's the kill shot. The company has a massive backlog of contracted revenue totaling $736.1 million. That's up 245% from last year. Let that sink in. They have nearly $750 million in future revenue already locked in. That provides incredible visibility and stability. With $271.5 million in cash on its balance sheet, it has the war chest to continue expanding its fleet and refining its AI. This isn't a company struggling to survive, it's a company preparing to dominate. Now we accelerate. We've established the technology, the business model, the financial strength. But what does this mean for the future? We live in an age of unprecedented uncertainty. Supply chains are fragile, geopolitical conflicts can erupt overnight. Climate change is creating disasters on a scale we've never seen. In this chaotic new world, real-time, planet-scale intelligence isn't a luxury, it's a necessity for survival. Imagine tracking the real-time flow of every oil tanker on the planet to predict energy prices. Imagine monitoring every major agricultural region to forecast food shortages before they become famines. Imagine a disaster relief agency being able to see exactly which roads are blocked and which buildings are damaged just minutes after an earthquake. And in the defense world, the implications are terrifyingly powerful. Tracking troop movements without needing spies on the ground, verifying whether a nation is complying with a treaty, identifying the construction of a secret missile silo the moment the first shovel hits the dirt. Satellites provide the raw data, but it's the AI analytics that turn that data into world-changing intelligence. This convergence is what makes Planet Labs so perfectly positioned. It's an intelligence company whose source is the planet itself. And that brings us to the promise I made at the beginning of this video. The one secret weapon in Planet's arsenal that Wall Street has completely failed to grasp. It's not the satellites. Someone else could eventually build a fleet. It's not the AI. Other companies have brilliant programmers. Planet's ultimate, unassailable advantage is its archive. They have been imaging the entire planet every single day for years. They are sitting on the most comprehensive visual history of planet Earth in existence. This library of time is their true moat. Why? Because every new image they collect doesn't just tell them what's happening today, it adds context to everything that came before. Their AI doesn't just analyze today's data, it analyzes it against a deep, ever-growing historical tapestry. The longer they operate, the smarter their AI gets. The more data they have, the more valuable their archive becomes. It's a compounding advantage that is mathematically impossible for a competitor to replicate overnight. To compete with Planet's archive, you would literally need a time machine. You'd have to go back in time and start scanning the planet years ago. This is the engine of their dominance, not just seeing the present, but understanding it through the deepest contextual history ever assembled. Intelligence isn't just knowing a fact, it's knowing what that fact means. And meaning comes from history. Planet Labs owns the history of the physical world. So we've been on a journey. We started with a simple, disruptive hook. The world you see is a lie. We built a story through a series of questions revealing the technology, the business, and the immense financial backlog. We used concrete details, the 41% growth in defense, the Colombia contract, the $736 million backlog, to transform concepts into undeniable realities. We reached a climax with the revelation of the archive, the true source of planet's power. In the attention economy of the 21st century, this is how you capture minds. Planet Labs isn't just another space company, it's an intelligence powerhouse built on a foundation of daily global truth. In a world desperate for clarity, they are selling the one thing everyone needs, a clear view of reality. And that makes them one of the most compelling stories of our time. Thanks for watching. If you want to keep exploring the hidden forces shaping our world, make sure you hit that subscribe button. The future is already here. You just need to know where to look.